Hi everyone, this is Karen from Online Healing Community. Welcome to Creating Space. This is a space for us to share stories and reflections related to personal growth and healing. And today we have with us the co-founder of the Wellness Group, Christina Sang. Hi Christina, welcome to Creating Space.
Hi, Karen. It's lovely to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about choosing yourself. And
Hmm.
yeah, first off, I'd like to ask, how did you get into wellness?
So I actually got into wellness, not by chance, but I think the timing was right to get into wellness. My background came from the corporate world, so I used to be in the corporate world for about 14 years, and I had a very high stress job. I was working with media a lot. So my last role was as a consultant, and I was handling like the luxury field, the art and culture field, and the diplomatic sector. So I worked with a lot of royalty. And this was in Dubai, so I was in the Middle East, and yeah, worked with a lot of royalty, a lot of celebrities all the time, and luxury brands like the LVMH group, Chanel, Christie's. It was very um, it's a very interesting time of my life because I feel like it was like a distant dream now. And from that experience, it actually propelled me into wellness, simply because there was this crossroad that I hit during my career, and I decided this is not what I want. I can't do this. It was as though I was resisting with every fiber of my being, and there was an internal prompt that would come up, and I would ignore it, and I would always just kind of suppress it and be like, no, shh, be quiet. I don't have time for you right now. And this prompt would just come up more and more frequently until later it just came up and was like, listen to me. and and I finally listened to it, and I couldn't resist that prompt anymore because, like I mentioned, like it was just every fiber of my being telling me to stop. And that's when
Right,
I realized I really needed to change. And that's what
right,
actually started the shift towards me going into the path of wellness.
right. So you mentioned there was a crossroad. I've been
Mhm.
checking your IG because I really love how honest and how
Thank you.
honest in general you are when you're sharing. And you said something about feeling disconnected in your IG. You said, "Have you ever felt like you're sleeping but your eyes are open? You look like you're awake, but something doesn't feel alive in you. Something hasn't quite clicked into place. Something is missing. You long for something, but you aren't really sure what it is." I so connected with this. I felt all this for so long. What does this phase look like? You talk about it. There's a prompt, but can you
Yeah.
paint us a picture? And how did you
So,
help yourself move forward?
yeah, it's really interesting because I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and sometimes I feel compelled to write, and there's stuff that comes out, right? When I was writing that, I think it was just realizing the connection that I have with myself now, and just reflecting back on that time of my life where I was in the corporate world. And it was truly like, it was as though I was living in this alternate reality. I don't know if you've watched the Matrix movie from ages
I
ago,
did.
but something similar to that. It's like you're awake, but you're not really here. You're not fully present. I felt very disconnected from everything. And even though I was here, I was physically here as my physical shell, but my thoughts, my captivity was not here. It was not engaged. I was not fully present. There are many times where I remember and I reflect back. I was in conversation, but I wasn't listening. I was hearing, but I was not listening. There were many times where I was just on the phone or working, or my mind was constantly elsewhere. It was as though I was constantly worried about what was happening in the future or in the past, that I was not able to sit in the present and be here currently with you or with myself or with others. I had no capacity to be able to do that. So in writing that, that was how I was feeling. I was walking around as though I was in a dreamlike state, completely disconnected from everybody. And probably that was because I was feeling completely disconnected myself. I had no
Right.
connection to me. It was as though it was robotic. It was like I was going through the motions of life without feeling the zest or the true like vivaciousness of life, right?
Mhm.
This incredible like life that flows through you as and all this beautiful pranic energy. It was just not available for me in that capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did you shift from that? How did you change that? Like you said, you were like a robot. You were like in a dreamlike state. You're living, but you're not. You're awake, but you're awake, but you seem asleep. What
Yeah.
helped you move forward
I
from that place?
so yeah,
Did you take the red
it's
pill?
well that
I think there's this two pills, right? The blue pill or the red pill.
the blue pill or the red pill. I actually
Yeah.
don't remember which one was it that Neo took, but yeah, I well when I was there, I think because I was numb, and I think I caused that numbness because, like I mentioned before, I kept suppressing all of the feelings and all of the natural things that come up, that the prompts that make you human and that want you to listen to them. Um,
Right.
and I got to the stage where I was feeling just numb and disconnected, and everything just kind of like hit the wall. Everything just came out of me in one go, and it was like my body, everything, every fiber, every cell of my being just was resisting like my current state. So my body and my entire being was basically telling me, stop, listen to me, something needs to change. And that's when I realized, and by that showing up, I had started getting health issues. I started manifesting like, guilt, shame, hurt, everything inside. I never let anything out. It was as though it was like a pressure cooker, right? Because it's like I kept everything in, but if you're not letting anything out, and it constantly stays in, it's gonna boil over at some stage. And that's what I think happened to me. I hit my boiling point, my body, my mind, everything hit its breaking point. And that's when I said, okay, I really needed to pause. So I really hit the pause button. And by hitting the pause button, it was quite a drastic shift. And I think that's still something I'm learning about myself. When I do something, I like doing it properly. So when I hit the pause button, I hit the pause button, and I basically quit my job. Quit my career that I was building for my whole adult life. I moved continents, so I moved back to Asia. I wanted to be closer to my family. I broke up with my partner of 6.5 years. I basically made all of these life changes. And then I started moving into the field of wellness, as at that time, coaching was calling me. So I decided to quit everything, leave everything, and I moved to London to do my coaching fundamentals course. And then I just continued down that path. And then after that, I became a bit of a certification learning junkie of sorts. I just started soaking in as much information as possible, because once I broke free of that corporate kind of like pull, I was
Right.
propelled in this direction. And in this direction, I was at that phase of just give me more learning, learning, learning. I want to, connect with myself more. Okay, what's this now? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Just being curious, I think, because I
Right.
was I wasn't able to give myself space and time to be curious, to explore, to be playful with my life, and see what else is out there, because there's just so much out there. And so coaching basically opened a new dimension of perspectives for me. So it was as though I was slowly opening not Pandora's box, the opposite of that. I was slowly opening this beautiful like world of opportunities that I didn't realize I had at my fingertips, because I was too disconnected in my previous life. So yeah, that's what started me down this path, and I'm now still down
You're
this
still
path.
doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait. What did you discover during the coaching? Because this is the first thing you took, right? The coaching in
Hmm.
London.
Yes. So
What did you open up? What opened up for you?
oh, oof, it was a very interesting time of my life actually, where when I started my fundamentals course. So at that time, I basically quit my job, did the whole thing, and then at the time I was also going through some personal things. So my grandfather was fell quite heavily ill when I was in London, and I was trying to be fully present there, and I felt like coaching was slowly opening me up, and then me having to fly back and forth. So I had to fly to Korea. I'm Korean American, so my grandfather was in Korea, and I had to fly to Korea, then fly to London again, fly to see him, and continue my course. And I felt like it was life going, okay, you're a little open, let's just rip you open and like see what emotions are going to come out, because it was really a test of like emotion, like holding it together, but still like now like being tender. I suppose it was as though I was slowly breaking open to be more tender, and my and how I was feeling, and what was happening in my life, and now like faced with this harsh reality of this is what life truly is. And I was faced at that moment, I think, with the mortality of life. At Before, it was just kind of like getting through life, right? Just making money, just having to do the things, and getting through the motions. But now it's like, hey, look, this is how precious life is. Life could pass you by in such a short amount of time. And that's what I think. And that, coupled with coaching and all the powerful questions, and it was quite a difficult situation. And I think as I was nearing the end of the coaching certification, there was a module actually that is called Process. So I got certified through the Coactive School, and which is a member of the International Coaches Federation. And they during that process part, I believe my grandfather was going through the dip, he was making his final wave. And I flew to Boston this time because I missed the London closing part because I was in Korea. Um, I I got there and they needed a coaching subject, right? They needed a demonstration. And I somehow became the demonstration, and I was like, I'll be okay. I'm here to learn. So I was not really connected with it. But process, the the module of process is to let the person sit with the emotion or the feeling, and there's like a cyclical loop that you take them through. And that point is to really feel, let them marinate in the emotion. And because I was still kind of, opening myself up to it, when obviously the our trainer at the time was coaching me in front of the whole room, and he took me through process and what was real and alive for me at that stage, I cracked open, and I think I cried, but it was as though I was holding in my cries for so long that it was like a waterfall. It just erupted. It just, and I let everything out, and I was just crying and
In front
crying
of
and
everybody.
in front of a room full of strangers that I was taking this coaching course with. And it was a very real, raw, and vulnerable moment for me. And I think I vividly remember that exact moment because I remember the smells, I remember the sights, the sounds, how the air felt on my skin at that time. Yeah, it was a very interesting moment. But the funny thing is, I felt so liberated. I felt so safe. Um, I felt it as though, gosh, like what was I waiting for? And up until that point, I think I had not been able to truly, truly cry as it's as though I was constantly battling being strong or putting a facade up or showing a face to the world and honoring my emotions and my true self. It was as though I was constantly in limbo between
Right.
um, these two worlds, when in actuality it's in the joining of this that you
Mm.
break open, right? Where you truly are able to emerge as the person that you are. And at that time, I was still viewing vulnerability as a weakness and as something that, made that gave people leverage over you,
Right.
because that's how I was conditioned in the corporate world a lot, and especially in Dubai, as an Asian woman in a high position, and I was young, and I worked my way up, and there's a lot of stereotypes and stigmas, when you see somebody, um, you know like me in a role. It's hard. It's like you really have to push through, and you really have to be in your masculine energy sometimes to make things happen. And and introducing yourself to people, they start to compartmentalize you. So in that constant, moving forward, the doing space, I never got to be, and I never got to honor, and I never got to be vulnerable. So I kind of masked all of this, and it was just, you know, and then I was left with that the that process where I just finally unleashed in front of a room full of strangers. So that was a very interesting, I think, moment for me, and I find that a lot of people may, I don't know, wherever you are in your life, this might be something that you'll go through, or you might have a similar experience to this in being confronted with your truth, and
Right.
what wants to move through you, right? The emotions
Right.
that are want to be expressed or are longing to be expressed through you, or wanting to be seen or heard or witnessed,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you're saying before being brave is different from honoring your emotions. Before that's what you think that it's either you're strong or you honor your emotions. But what you're saying now is it's actually the same. You are brave, you're strong if you honor your emotions. Do I
I
get
think
it
it's
correctly?
yes. So what I was finding previously was a disconnect between these two, right? And being able to let these two meet in the middle, I found that it was in the honoring of your emotions. So finding strength in your vulnerability, because there is such power and strength in your vulnerability, right? It's being able to really own that vulnerability and understand it, where you find strength, right? And that's when you start to find a deeper strength within you to be able to express, to hold, and even hold space for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And this is just my personal experience and
Mhm.
opinion. That's where I found that I was able to slowly start to marry the two, finding that strength in my vulnerability. So there's a coaching grant that I'm currently part of called it's positive intelligence quotient, and it's basically rewiring your neurological pathways to be in your natural state, which is called the sage state, and getting rid of your saboteurs, which are your self-sabotaging demons. But what I found for me was that I was constantly plagued with everything else. I was never able to be in my natural state, and these masks that I wore to present myself as something else to society, and to be what I thought society expected me to be. Yeah, it's and what my family expected me to be, and what and it was sometimes, actually, I realized it was all not all in my head, but I had monumentally I made a mountain out of a molehill. It was I created something so much grander and larger, and raised the expectations so much higher than they really needed to be. And and I never let myself feel vulnerable, or never let myself show chinks in the armor, or make mistakes, or have that, because then I was wrong. It was my judge, right? This judgment of
Right.
myself, like, that I kept battling. This, I have a judge, like, it's a little demon. It's my self-sabotaging demon, and it is so loud sometimes. And it's like, why didn't you do this? Like, you did this wrong,
Right.
or you should have spoken like this, or you should have said that instead of this, or like, constantly berating myself. And when I'm like, okay, you sit there for a while and be quiet. Just put some, like, duct tape on your mouth. And it's I'm kind of like, oh wow, hey, I'm human. I make mistakes. It's okay. Like, then it's by a little bit more compassion for yourself, right? And being able to,
Right.
really just see yourself as human, and all the beautiful spectrums that you are, right? Yeah, as we make
Right.
mistakes. We're human. Like, nobody could possibly be perfect. Nobody makes no mistakes. There's nobody in the entire world. We will all go through, like, the pitfalls.
Makes
We'll all go
mistakes.
through
Yeah.
judgment. We'll all, yeah.
Yes. 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 I love
So
it when you're
yeah,
talking
that is.
about this inner demon. And can you just picture it? You
Yes.
have this inner demon, you put it in one corner, and then you put duct tape on his
Yeah.
on his mouth and
Yeah, it's
say,
like, shh,
"Stop
be
it! I
quiet.
won't
Just
listen
be
to you."
quiet. Yes, exactly. It's like an X. It's like a black X
Yeah.
duct tape. Just be quiet. Yeah, but mine's like, it comes from behind it, because I don't see it, right? I don't see it, but I
Right.
start to hear it creep up behind me, and I'm slowly recognizing when that happens, and I'm like, okay, labeling it. Okay, that's you. I see you. You're speaking to me now. Okay, all right, and then I decide what I'd like to do with it.
Right. So you have to be aware first, you're saying? So you can, because that's, I was thinking, how do you stop? Because we all have that. It's not just you. We all have our
Yeah,
inner demons. What do you call? I call them, yeah,
yeah.
I call them demons also.
Would you
Or
do you call them
devils.
demons, or, like,
Yeah, I
I
call
call
them like, I know, I call them monsters. I call them monsters.
monsters?
And like, yeah, I have a picture of myself like with a sword and like
Mhm.
fighting with my monsters. That's how I call them. But
How do you fight with
I
your
love your
monsters?
strategy. I love your strategy that you can actually sit them, ask them to like no, go to the corner
Mhm.
and you can put like duct tape on their mouth.
Yeah.
That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it's
did
a
you feel?
powerful visualization. Sorry,
Yeah,
please
it
continue.
is. It is. And how did you figure out that? Oh my, I can do this. I can actually put these demons in the corner and order them the
Yeah.
order. Yeah.
So, it's, I mean, these are, I think I was first reintroduced to the concept of saboteurs, or self-sabotaging demons, during coaching, when I was being trained to become a coach.
Right.
They presented that to us, and I've now studied at different types of coaching modalities, not just coactive, but um, I found basically the similarities are that we all have saboteurs, and it's being able to visualize each one and tangibilizing it, giving it a name, making it as real as possible. And sometimes it is quite difficult, especially for those that have been through trauma. It's hard to visit a place you're uncomfortable with, and all of us, we tend to gravitate towards what's comfortable, right? What's easy, what's familiar. And when you're asked to face something that's unpleasant, it's hard to sit with that. It's hard to identify that. So yeah, what the beauty of these are that you're able to visualize your self-sabotaging demons. So, and
Right.
what I found personally helpful for me was to take them out and look at them one by one. So recognize each one as they come up, because we have more than one
Right.
monster, demon, whatever it is, that come up to 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 wreak havoc on our lives. and
Right.
and it's being able to visualize and tangibilizing it, then you're like, oh, I can see it. Okay, I recognize it, or oh, I know that this is happening. And I mean, there might be some people that go through these visualizations who can't actually visualize. There is a small percentage of people that aren't able to visualize or paint pictures through visualizations, but then it's
Mm.
being able to recognize, right, that this is happening, or this is the moment where, okay, I'm getting hijacked right now by this little creature or big creature, however it's coming up for
Mm.
you, and then labeling it. And then once you label it, you're able to know, you know what you're able to do with it, right? Like it's like, okay, well, today I'd like you to, like, so right now while you're talking, I just wanted mine to just be quiet and sit in the corner. But sometimes some people, it's depending on what's coming up. I've had clients where they like really, like, we go through to, like, we visualize and go to a place, we like get some tools out, we like bury the thing, we we go through a journey coming back. There's many different ways to do it. Some just want to cage it, some want to put it on a shelf, or some it's
Mm.
want to make friends with it. So it's a really interesting, there's many different levels. I mean, we're all at different points of our lives, right? And it's really surprising what comes up for each of us.
That's true. That's true. Initially, I was like that
Yeah.
person who would like kill, really literally kill my monsters. But now I'm at a point where
Hmm.
I befriend my monsters. It's something that
Oh, it's
Father
interesting.
Hake taught me, but something related to who's this? The Hero's Journey by Joseph
Ah, yes.
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so at the
Oh,
point where you can
wow.
befriend your monster. So we're constantly
Yeah,
evolving, right? Like how you deal with your
we are.
demons before may be different with how you deal with the demons now.
Yes.
Right.
I think previously for me, I didn't know I had demons. I didn't realize I had these things that were creeping up on me. Um, I used to blame others or other things or external circumstances for my behavior or what was happening to me. So, and to me, it was, again, also the perspective at which you approach, right? Sometimes I had the victim mentality. Oh, what's happening? Why is this happening to me? Oh, like, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, this is not my fault. Like, and all of these things, like, and oh, it was their fault. And just really playing that victim card. But that it's there's a need to break out of that, to be able to see where you're coming from and where you're going.
Right. With
Yeah.
you mentioned there's a need to break out from that victim mentality. With you, it's really when you're able to marinate your emotions and honor it. Is it that thing that helped you with your breakthrough? There, right, Christina. There. Okay, so we were talking to Christina about choosing yourself. So we're just talking about how do you break through, how to break through a certain pattern or a certain mentality. Because she's talking about sometimes we have victim mentality and sometimes we sabotage ourselves. And we're talking about like you have to identify it. When you name it, you tame it. So identify your inner demons or inner monsters or whatever you call it. So let's just wait if I think we lost Chris for a bit. Okay. So we're talking about choosing yourself. Okay. Um hi everyone. This is Karen from Online Healing Community and today we're talking about choosing yourself. And Christina was talking about her experience like there Christina's back. Like she was a corporate executive from Dubai and then she had burned out and eventually she chose herself and she chose wellness. And until now, she's still in the path of wellness. Oh, there. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Welcome back.
So sorry.
So,
Internet, I
no,
think.
it's fine. It's fine. It's really fine. These things happen, especially now with everything going. Everyone's now online. Speaking of that, you talk about this in your IG. You said that the digital world is a double-edged sword. It can either facilitate connection or isolation. How did you, because you're able to connect to your inner well-being, to your inner self, but how are you able to coach other people to connect to themselves using the online platform or the digital platform? Okay. So if you have questions for Chris, you can like type it right now. So you can ask her later. There. Okay. So I shall come back in a bit. So right now we're talking about choosing yourself, and she talked about many tools that can help you. Number one, she talked about identifying. You have to name your demons and and identify them, and then when you identify them, you can figure out what to do with them. Like personally, what she does is like ask a demon to go sit in a corner, and then she put duct tape on their mouth so they can shut up. And then, oh, there, Christina's back. I'm talking to them about tools we were sharing earlier. There. Hi, Chris. Are you back? Can you hear me? Hello, Chris. And then, what else was she talking about? She was talking about emotions. She's talking about honoring your emotions. At first, before she thought that there was a disconnect between being strong
Here.
and honoring your emotions, and now she said that you can actually marry the two. Hi, Chris. Are you back? It's fine. Yeah, there you're. I can see you move now. This is how it digital space. That's how it is now. So, what are the other tools that can help you? So, honoring your emotions, and then she talked about, well, it was abrupt for her, but she did pause. Like she said, there were so many prompts in her life. Okay, all right. Sorry. Let me just remove this and there. Hello, Chris. Are you back?
Yes. The irony.
There
Sorry,
you
as you were telling me about
go.
digital space.
Yes. Well, that's how it is. Sometimes we get disconnected here in this space. So that's fine. These things really happen. But
Yes.
yeah, because what you did for
Yeah.
yourself was you were able to connect to yourself. You're able to connect to your emotions. You're able to name your demons and tame your demons. You're able to honor your emotions. So you're able to really connect to yourself first. And now you're helping other people connect to themselves as well. But right now everything is online. So how do you do that?
So there are many ways, I think, to be able to connect, right? And I think that, well, for me, I, I channel connection through being able to connect with myself first, as I remember feeling. I always just take myself back to the feeling, and now it feels like such a foreign concept, but that feeling of being so disconnected, right? Feeling like you're walking around with your eyes open, but you are still sleeping. Um, Now I found that this connection to myself is really important. And during this pandemic, especially, there were so many opportunities where that I had to just really be able to introspect and take time to be with myself. And I know that sounds funny for some people, but it's oftentimes a luxury or a privilege or something that we think is too much of a privilege, or there's so many different ways that we view this, right? Depending on what path you're on right now, or what chapter of your life you're currently writing. But for me personally, this journey itself was really, really important, because it without this, it kept me from not being able to make decisions before. And where I'm now channeling this, especially in the pandemic, is really getting inwards first. So by getting inwards, it's connecting with myself in any capacity. So I've experimented with everything, everything under the sun, to be able to connect with myself. And I think my true breaking open point again. So it's life is a constant journey, right? We're all constantly evolving. We're all learning. I personally don't resonate with the guru mentality because I feel as though it's all just a sharing experience. Maybe there are certain people with skill sets that are able to help you or guide you, but doesn't need to necessarily tell you what to do, and you religiously follow that because you're walking a different journey than the other person or whoever might be guiding you. We're all going through our own experiences simultaneously. So with that said, me personally, I connected with myself to know what I want, and this played a role in my relationships with friends. I started making new friends and started really attracting different types of people in my life to be able to that resonate with me, and that kind of it's a different type of vibration and frequency that you're sending out. And in that, I think that connection transcends everything, whatever medium you're connecting with that person on. So you mentioned the digital space. Right now, me connecting with myself, well, I'm quite connected to myself, and with that, I'm able to a different frequency energy that is palpable for others. Maybe people, as they listen to us or share, or able to join in this conversation with us, are able to feel this energy and find a point or relevance of connection, right? This little square that I currently sit in, it still holds me, right? It still holds the essence of who I am. This little square that you're sitting in, you're here,
Yes.
it still holds the essence of who you are, and you're able to bring that beautiful energy and light and still share it, regardless of whatever medium you're in, right? Of course, the in-person connection is something different, but what I'm personally learning is our connection to ourselves emits a connection to the universe and everything around. So the space that is out of us and within us, and gets to eventually touch the person. So yeah, long story short, or long-winded answer cut very short, I think connection is possible through resonance and any like really just anything tying people together. Um, right now, you and I are connecting, or we've connected because we've wanted to share stories and reflection and share something that might, people might resonate with. It might not, doesn't have to, but we're willingly and happily able to share. And I think with that, we have found a point of connection.
Right.
Maybe there's something else that calls to somebody. Maybe there's an online promotion, or maybe there is something that you're longing for right now. And then you see something that resonates with you. And then you're like, oh, well, look at that. I've connected with that. There's so much social media happening right now. And then there's TikTok, and then there's like things like Kumu, and there's just so many online platforms. We're constantly overstimulated. Where do you, like, I guess for me, it's where do you find true points of connection there? Are you connecting? Are you truly connecting in those moments? Are you being a victim of like this zombie land state? So that dreamlike state that I was in, is that what's happening to you as you scroll through, social media, or are you connecting? I
Right.
guess that's where you have, like, I don't know, that's something that I'd like to invite whoever's watching to really look at. Where are you finding connection? And what does connection really mean to you? For example, I am now in the midst of trying to clean up my social media. Actually, I realized that as I was sharing certain things, and as I mentioned previously, I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and I'm trying to change my narrative around that. But with that, I was finding that I don't really resonate or connect with any of the things that are popping up on my feed.
Right.
What am I doing to change that? One, to spend less time on social media. Two, I will choose what I want to see. or
Right.
I'll control what I'm going to connect with. And if so, if something hits me, I really want to connect with it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want it to just flow through me, but I'd like it to land. I'd like it to hit. So I think as you listen to your internal prompts, as that's why I think the connection to self is so important. As you listen to your internal prompts, as you hear your longings, your body or your soul, or there is a longing, there's a deeper longing or yearning or want there, and as you listen to that, it'll become so much more apparent to you, and it'll be blatantly obvious. It's like a smack in the face of what you
Mm.
want to connect with, and what is pulling you, what is calling you,
Mm.
to make that ET connection
Yeah.
link.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And
So listen
yeah.
to yourself first, right? That's what you're saying. Listen to yourself first, and you're
Yes.
talking about checking and asking yourself these questions: Am I connecting, or am I really engaging, or am like this social media is moving me towards a zombie-like or dream-like state? So there's a lot
Yeah.
of
And
awareness also, right?
yeah, it's
A lot of
putting
consciousness and
yourself
awareness.
exactly. And I mean, it's this is a whole other topic on its own, right?
Yeah.
Connection and connecting through the digital space. A friend of mine, actually, Simone Heng, she talks about this a lot as well. Connecting in the digital space and in this digital world. She's a human connection specialist. She does a lot of work around that. It's really interesting to see how our human mind takes us. And for example, during the pandemic, I'm sure last year, a lot of us spent a lot more time here and these screens, right? And these digital worlds. So like this morning, I mean, it was ridiculous. I had like my phone screen that was mirroring into my computer screen that was also mirroring into my like TV. It's we're constantly on a screen, right? And
Right.
but how are we connecting? Because human connection is still so important. How are we connecting to the person on the other side? Or maybe we're on Zoom meetings or Zoom calls for work or this. How are we connecting to that person? There's still another beautiful human being that is on the opposite side of the screen, this tangible screen that's here. So rather than viewing this as a barrier, what has changed my narrative around this connection is that this is not a barrier. This is an opportunity. This is a window for me to be able to connect energy in that space, and something that I wasn't afforded the luxury to do before. Um, how do I, how am I able to really forge or be present for this person? And when you're fully present, like there's little things that you can notice. Like for example, I like the Zoom screens. I look at, I observe them. I mean, I'm not a creeper, but there's so many different types of personalities that come out, right? When you're in a Zoom call, there's the ones that like that turn off their video and they're doing something else in the background,
Yeah.
or there's the ones that turn on the video, but they're constantly self-conscious or checking themselves in their own screen. And then, when you remove a lot of these things, you realize, okay, what am I doing here? How am I connecting to this? How am I present here? And like that's something that I mean, I went through all of that. I went through the motions, right? I went through the Zoom calls with like my top, like having this part presentable, and then I was wearing my pajama bottoms or finding comfort. um, but I started just eliminating all of that, and I'm like, wow, I really, really, really crave human connection. How am I able to do that? And I started looking and seeing expressions, or like, hey, I sense something's off about this person today. Like, how are
Mm.
you doing? Like, what's happening for you? You seem a little off, because energy is still truly palpable. You can still feel energy
Yes.
online, right?
True,
There's,
true.
yeah.
I completely agree with you. And sometimes it's so interesting because I also see patients online. I can actually feel them. I can feel what they're feeling, even if it's
Hmm.
online. I guess you're right about the window. It's how you
Yes.
really look at it. Is it a window or a barrier? Because whatever you think of, that's true for you. Yeah. And this last pandemic, you did something really beautiful. You organized the U Fest with Third Eye Wellness, and I feel that that's something that really helped everybody get connected. Can you tell us more? And you're doing the second U Fest again this year.
Yes,
Can
we
you?
are. Yes. Yay.
Yes. So can we
Yay.
tell us? Can you tell us about that?
um,
I'll share.
sure.
I'll share the.
So sure. So quick story update is that UFest was born because we actually started. Oh, that's so
So
cute!
that's cute.
Yay, that's our
Everybody,
team.
but let me pull up
Um,
the festival. So that's the theme
yes,
for you, kids, right? Yeah,
yes, we
that's
have a bigger
everyone.
team this year. They're truly incredible. They've been putting so much love, energy, and time
Yeah.
into creating this beautiful online space for everybody to be a part of. So how, just a very quick update. I realize I talk a lot and I've monopolized this conversation today, but um,
It's fine. It's fine.
the no, but thank you for allowing me this space to be able to express myself, Karen. But how we basically started UFest, just to give you a little update, was that we sensed, so I was in Bali at that time. I was quote unquote stuck in Bali last year, and we recognized a longing in the air for something, for that connection, as I mentioned. And with the pandemic hanging in the air, it felt as though a lot of people were truly longing for something fun, exciting, something to really give
Yes.
them a deeper level of connection and a sense of community. So at the Wellness Group, we actually started a 21 days of exploration program. So it was called 21 Days of Exploration. And every single day for 21 days, we had something like a program, like a class that took place. And it was 21 days of exploration in cultivating a habit or a routine, or just really exploring something new in the wellness space, right?
Right.
Just to give people a little, for me, it was, well, I want everyone to be a part of it now. So that was like where we were coming from. And
Mm.
we created it so that it was accessible to everybody. So to join this program, participants had to make a donation of any amount to a frontlining charity of their choice. So in their community. We didn't want finance to be an obstacle. So it could have been like 1 peso to like thousands of pesos, or whatever you felt you wanted to donate to that time. So to join, you had to just present a receipt or a valid copy of your donation to the charity, and you were in. And our beautiful facilitators and instructors were from all over the world, and I mean all over. We reached out to our network, and we had friends from like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, London, Dubai, like literally all corners of the world, the States, like Bali, like Philippines, Korea. We had everyone from everywhere in the 21-day program to just share their knowledge and expertise. So these beautiful facilitators and light bearers, they just shared into that space. And with that, it was quite well received. We had a lot of people connecting that wouldn't have connected before. Like, somebody from Germany was like becoming friends with like somebody from the Philippines, and this, and just like it started this chain or little ripple effect of connection. And we were like, wow. And then we got messages after that saying, please, can you do another one? Or that was so much fun. Or please, can you extend the 21 days? I was like, it's a 21-day program, so we have to end it, unfortunately, on 21 days. We can't make it a 30-day program. But with that, that's how I got to actually connect with Sanaya at Third Eye Wellness. And then we started talking, and then we started birthing the idea of You Wellbeing Festival. And last year, we created exactly that on a larger scale. So we had, to be honest, we were initially looking at a 3-day program, and then because we had so much interest and amazing facilitators wanted to share during that space, and just to inspire hope in people during that time, we we created this. We created this extra day, so it became like a 4-day program rather than a 3-day program. Yeah. So it was 4 days. It wasn't supposed to be 4 days. Sanaya was like, Christina, let's try to keep it at 3. So I was like, no, but there's so many people. I was like, we could do it. So we made it a 4-day program. It wasn't actually supposed to be that, but and it was beautiful. It was and we started it because, I mean, many reasons, but truly right now, if you look at the statistics, um, last year there was 138% rise in mental health cases in the Philippines alone. In Asia, streaming of live stream videos and downloaded videos was, there was 70% live streaming. There was an increase of 70%. And just, looking at all the different statistics, doing our research, we found so many interesting stats. I mean, the recorded stats, right? There's so many statistics that are not recorded and that have, but that's the whole other story. So that's where we really, that's where we pulled some really interesting content from, and we're like, oh wow, this, we really need to address this. So what we wanted to do was create something palatable and fun. So rather than having it like a teleconference or like a summit or something, we wanted it to be fun. And what is fun for you? A festival is fun, right? Like a festival is taken out of the world of festivities and having, it's just celebration, right? So, and the message, the resounding message we wanted everyone to celebrate was you. Celebrate you. Celebrate your existence, your incredible and beautiful, majestic existence in this world, because you are such a gift, each person, each individual. And we never get the time to do that for ourselves, right? We rarely really are like, wow, oh my gosh, praising myself, I'm so wonderful, wow, we don't do this to ourselves.
Yes, we
And
don't.
so we wanted to get a mini version, but we should, right? Because we're just so amazing. And so this is where we were like, all right, let's get people in let's get people in and looking at themselves, because truly, who is the most important person in your life? And if you ask a lot of people this, if you walk around and ask a lot of people this, they will say somebody else, like, oh, the most important person in my life is my boyfriend or my husband or my child, or there's so many different types of love that is shown through that. But you should be among the most important people in your life as well, because truly, who are you stuck with for the rest of your life, throughout the entire existence of being? It's yourself. You are stuck, not stuck. You have the privilege, you have the honor of being with yourself for the rest of your life, so, and beyond. So
Yes.
to truly pay homage to that, we wanted the festival to be around you. And last year, our first edition was scratching the surface on wellness. So because Naya and I and our entire team are so passionate about wellness, and because we've all felt our personal stories around that, and have went through the different modalities, we wanted to give a taster of all of these beautiful things to and share it with the general public. So we had things like introduction to yoga philosophy, introductions to different things, introduction to human design, and different things like that.
Mm.
And so we grew. And this year, in our festival coming up in less than 2 weeks, in like 9 days, I think. Oh my gosh, what days?
Yeah,
Yes, on the
9 days.
26th of February. Yes, 9 days, only 9 days from now, we have, like, we've expanded that. So we know that there's last year was more of an introduction, and it was like a scratching of the surface. This is taking you just a
Yeah.
little bit deeper. So we have some incredible speakers, and yes, welcome to Youth Wellbeing Festival. Yes. And this, our second edition, we have 3 different themes, and they're actually represented in the images that you see on the screen right now as well. So the first day is inclusivity, in that you are truly welcome in all the different spectrums and facets of you and how you come. Second is safety. So feeling safe within yourself and exploring the concept of safety in all its parameters. And third is community, knowing that you are not alone. Because a lot of different things stem from a place of loneliness and a place of not belonging and a place of insecurity. And we wanted to cement these ideas and really get people to grasp and understand that, hey, you are truly not alone. You in everything that you are is perfect. And we accept all of that. And, you have a community and you have this incredible, you have such incredible resources for you to be able to tap into. And you also, get the opportunity to connect with so many different people that maybe you might have not before, but they all resonate with something similar that drew you here to this festival. So that's what we created: inclusivity, safety, and community. We have some lovely little video tidbits on our Instagram page if you'd like to have a look and see them. But we really have an amazing lineup this year, yeah, it's just we're just building such a beautiful community of facilitators, instructors, and for this edition, we're trying to widen our reach, so to reach outside of the Philippines as well. So we're experimenting with that. We're still building. To be honest, we're growing, we're building, we're still learning. So we might not always get it right, but we're trying our best, and we really just want to create a really beautiful space for everybody. And it's really exciting. I mean, we have people like Karen Curry Parker that's there. So I'm not sure if you know about human design, but she is like the master. She currently trains people to become human design specialists. So it's such an amazing treat for her to have accepted our invitation to present. We have some truly, truly incredible speakers. We have like different panelists as well. The panels are a big, big highlight.
Yes.
And they'll be touching on some really important world issues, as well as topics that we as the team felt were really important to be addressed right now, and especially for whoever's watching as light bearers, as facilitators, as people who share and hold energy. It's so important to look at the social issues as well that we currently, and what's happening in our global landscape. So, and address this, and also not be afraid to speak about it. So we're offering that platform in the 3 panels as well. So, I mean, we're tackling quite heavy topics, but hopefully what our aim and objective is to be able to make it a little bit more palatable or easy to understand, and create less of that barrier for entry. Because, for example, our inclusivity, our first day, we have a diversity panel. So we're bridging the cross-cultural gap. So that's a really important topic because, in Asia especially, we don't really address these things. There's many things that are kind of glossed over by society, and so, certain times, and we're all human, we're unsure of how do we start this conversation, or where do we go, or how do we approach this? Like, for example, Black Lives Matter was blowing up in the US, and then it started opening different facets of conversation around race, around inclusion, around diversity, around around equity in wellness, around diversity in wellness, so on and so forth. But then these are such heavy and important topics with such weight that it is quite intimidating sometimes. And where do I start, or how can I join the conversation? So this is where we're slowly opening and offering a platform to do that. Our second day is on safety, and our panel is on sexuality. So we're hitting quite not taboo, but topics that aren't commonplace dinner conversation that or like afternoon tea lunch conversation that you would have. They're very important topics. We have to be talking about them. We have to be sharing about this. And our last day, we have the panel of on sustainability, so social entrepreneurship, grassroots herd mentality, bit of decolonization, taking action. Where do we go from here? Because yes, we can culminate all of these amazing, interesting programs, topics, etc., and we can, digest and take them in, but then we have to take action to for there to be a ripple effect, or for there to truly be change, or to create lasting impact. Each person has to take action. Each person has to do something. Like, for example, we could know about the concept of, there being plastic and a lot of pollution and global warming, etc. We could know about it. We know, but where are you taking action? Am I going to take action? Am I going to start trying to, reduce our waste and live more sustainably, or be more mindful of what I'm consuming or buying, and that will later turn into waste? Because then if I do it, and then my friend does it, and then my friend does it with another person, then it creates a ripple effect, and there will actually be lasting change. But if I just know it, but I'm like, I know plastic is bad, and then I continue to buy plastic pens and things. And I mean, I'm a victim to this as well. So I'm just sharing. Like, I'm looking at what's around me, and I'm like, oh, look, this is plastic, And if I know, but I don't turn that into action, perhaps I will, and I'm also talking to myself here because I am a victim to this. Perhaps I will think about what I buy in the future, and what and what I'm going to be doing about it. So
Right.
yeah, there's.
You're so excited about this. And why should the other you're so passionate about this cause. Why should the others like join the festival?
Thank you.
What's in it for them? You are.
Um, yeah, I think it's because I'm not. It's something I truly believe in, right? So it's something that I believe personally to be true right now. It's something that I believe in, and I think. So I'm just sharing that. um, so I'm happy that it's well received by you right now, and that my energy is not too crazy.
It exudes. It goes off the screen. Yeah, it's
Yes,
something
I
that
have a lot
you
of gesticulations with my hands. I do. I talk with my hands a lot. Should be Italian. Um,
yeah.
but I I believe that, look, if you're watching this for a reason, or no, if you're watching this, it is for a reason. So whatever compelled you to stay, and if you're still watching this at like an hour and 4 minutes, I thank you for letting me talk your ear off, and for letting me share my story, and for letting Karen share her beautiful energy here as well with you. But honestly, it's what calls you, right? People should join, or you should join, or whoever is in this space should join only if you're truly compelled to. You can't force anything, and you can't. You need to feel when it's right for you, and if it's just, this is really just an invitation, I guess, to listen to yourself and see if there's anything that I've said in my 1 hour and 5 minutes soliloquy monologue. No, I'm kidding. If in this hour, if there's even one thing that has resonated with you, then perhaps it's worth exploring that curiosity, right? And it's, I think, in our curiosity and our playfulness where we're really able to see a new side of ourselves, and to allow that side to develop or grow. Um, and especially as adults, we don't really give ourselves the opportunity to play and be light and have levity, because we have serious world adult issues that we need to, take care of, like, surviving, or, putting food on the table, or, living and working and changing the world. So there's so much societal pressure and everything that, yeah, like an invitation to really take time for yourself, to see what works for you, to explore, to play, and to connect. And really just know that there are so many amazing options and so many incredible human beings out there. There's this whole world that you still haven't discovered. Why not start now? Like, there's just, I mean, yeah, that's my take on it right now. And I'm, yes, as I'm talking about it, I get excited because it's true. There's this whole world yet to be discovered. The thing that resonates with me the most is the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. So there is just so much that, I mean, you might know a lot right now, but there's still so much that you don't know. And being able to explore some of that is incredible because that will open you up to a world of more not knowing. But then that's the beauty of life, right? You get to explore and chase and, and open yourself up to everything, right? All of this beautiful universe exists, like, and all of its beautiful spectrums and facets, and yeah. And so really just opening you up to that, and hopefully you'll be able to join. And if you're not able to catch the live sessions, which are really fun, and give you an opportunity to be able to speak to the facilitator and stuff. If you're not able to do that, then we also have live recordings available, and you can watch them on replay, and and you'll still feel like like I've watched some of the replays as well, because last edition I wasn't able to attend all of them because we were on the other call and like migrating, and trying to make sure that everything went well. But I watched some of the replays, and it feels like you're there. You can hear some of the questions, they're asked back, and yeah, it's such a beautiful energy. So we really hope that you'll be able to come and join. And Karen, hope that you'll be able to join us too,
Yeah,
and
I'll definitely be
check
there. I'll
out the
definitely be
festival.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you, like you said, explore, play, and connect. Yeah.
hmm,
And celebrate. I love it. I love what you say about celebrating you because, like you said earlier, most of the time we berate ourselves. We don't really celebrate ourselves. So it's nice to be given that opportunity to just celebrate our amazing, amazing selves. Um, it's about, well, we've been talking for an hour, so we
sorry.
usually
I'm
it's
gonna, I'm gonna
fine.
do,
I
I'm gonna.
really love I love this conversation. Really, thank you so much for being so open, Chris.
Of
Christina.
course.
We usually wrap up with a
Okay,
meditation
you got
or
me.
some kind of a reflection. Is it okay if you lead us? Just a few minutes.
Of course. Um, hmm. All right. Let me just take a moment as well to just settle in as I'm still buzzing with all of this excited energy. Okay. Perhaps inviting you to take a comfortable seat wherever you are. It's currently permeable and just tangible through the space. Let them all arrive here. And as you arrive in this space, find yourself falling into the seat with a little bit more ease. And exhale all of that energy and let it slowly melt into your seat. So take your next inhale. I'd like you to invite a little bit more love as you breathe in through the front of your heart space. And as you exhale, I'd like you to imagine that your universal heart, the back of your body, opens out and your exhale flows out through the back of your body. As you breathe in once more, draw in that energy from the back of your body, from the unknown. Take it through the present and exhale it out through the front of your body. I'd like you to Take a couple more breaths in that fashion. Notice what you're inviting more of as you take your inhale. Notice what you're releasing as you exhale. As you slowly draw this exploration to the center, imagine that all of this beautiful energy is now within you. It's emanating from the core of you. And I'd like you to ask yourself, who am I becoming? And there might be some thoughts, words, colors that float through the air. You to acknowledge them and let them go. Take another big inhale through your nose. And exhale. Release it all, any residual tension or energy. And notice what's alive for you right now. There is an internal longing. There is something within you that wants to be expressed, that wants to be heard, that wants to be acknowledged by you. What is it? If you're able to address this, give it a silent acknowledgement. If you aren't able to, that's okay. And just let go slowly. Take one more breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs up to full capacity. Exhale slowly, releasing that. And slowly and gently spreading that breath through your fingertips, through your feet. And as that energy makes its way to your eyes, from blink them open whenever you're ready and arrive back into this space.
Thank you so much, Christina, for that beautiful meditation. You just allowed us to experience how to connect to ourselves. You gave the pause, the breathing, and then just really listening to ourselves. So thank you so much for that. Final words for everybody watching or and listening to this conversation.
Oof, don't really have any final words, but I'd like to ask you to, or maybe invite you to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe after doing that, what's coming up for you? Perhaps if you have a journal handy, write down what's coming up and what words are coming up for you. And really an invitation to explore that. The who am I becoming?
Right.
Or perhaps who am I, do I want to become? And yeah, whatever it is that circulates out of that as well.
Yeah. Am I becoming? So I guess we'll leave you with that. Please ask yourself a question this question. Who are you becoming? Yeah, it's an invitation to actually listen to yourself. Thank you so much, Christina, for sharing
Thank
your stories
you.
and reflections with
Thank
us.
you so much. Thank you so much for your patience and for your
No,
beautiful
it was so
questions,
beautiful.
your
I learned so
prompting.
I love it. Your journey is one of disconnection to connection. And because you're
Thank
able to
you.
connect yourself, you're now teaching other people to connect to themselves. It feels like you're going to change the world that way.
Thank you. I hope I don't ever lose this connection again. Yeah, because it's
Thank you
so
so
beautiful.
much.
Thank
It is
you,
beautiful what we
and thank
discovered.
you everybody for staying on for so long.
Yeah, and sometimes people replay the episode, so yeah, so more people it will reach more people. So thank you everyone for being with us. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Christina.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All
Thank
right,
you.
but okay, thank you.